the next 30 minutes with you guys. The guys have been playing well on both sides of it, man. They've been pitching it well. Some pretty strong offense against some good dudes across the way. So it's been a fun several games, and our goal is to continue that.
Gosh, no controversy. Nothing can't drag you through the mud today. What is this? What's the whole point of this, right?
Let's go home.
Yeah, I'm just going to
So are we done for the day?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. No, hey, I actually wanted to start out with something that maybe the most impressive thing I've seen about the Cardinals this season. It started on opening day with Lopez, and then over the next 18 days, Skeens, Nola, Wheeler, and Valdez. Those are 5 legit number 1 starters. Your guys in 26 innings of at-bats against them put up 19 earned runs. That's a 6.58 ERA. Now, that's awfully impressive. I mean, so what I wanted to ask you is, I don't know that we would have seen that from your team last year, frankly, but the quality of the at-bats are so much better. But what's going into that? Like, why are you more equipped to handle pitchers of that caliber?
I really do feel, and I have to give the hitting department and Brownie and that group a lot of credit because the way they're going about it is impressive in a couple different areas. Not only the preparation, but the feedback loop on the back end of the accountability to that preparation. So I'll start with the prep first. The hitters meetings have been impressive in the sense of you have to have different shots for different guys. You're not going to beat Wheeler the same way you're going to beat Nola. You're not going to take the same at-bats against Keller and Skeens. They're just different guys. And the way you approach them has to be different. And I feel like the individualizing it for each guy, but still 1 through 9 having an overarching approach against Skeens, Keller. I mean, Keller did a nice job against us, but there's times you're going to execute, there's times you're not. I liked actually Sanchez, live arm, the lefty with Philly, did a really nice job against us, just kept us on the ground. Anytime we had an opportunity, it was a ground ball double play. And we faced Valdez yesterday, who's similar in the sense of like really controls that sinker. He's stubborn with it, gets a lot of ground balls, over 60% both sides. And our guys had a much better approach in attacking him after facing the Phillies lefty. So I feel like Brownie and his group have done a really nice job of, this is what this guy does well, but here's how we're going to beat him. And we have to be more stubborn than him when it comes to seeing the ball up last night and not hitting the ball on the ground, whatever the case may be for that specific day. And then post game, the very next day, before covering the pitcher we're going to face, how did we do? Did we execute our plan? What went well? What didn't go well? And there's solid accountability. And when you hear the word accountability, sometimes you think of like just pressing on guys and hold. That's not it. It's just, man, here's where we dropped the ball a little bit. Here's what we did really well. This game's hard, but here's some areas of improvement. And they've done a really nice job of doing that day to day, allowing for when things don't go well, for it not to linger and to continue to capitalize on executing some of these game plans. So it's been impressive, man. It really has, because you just named them. I mean, Skeens, Keller, Nola, Sanchez. I mean, it's a long list of some really good arms, and it's been impressive up to this point.
I had a follow-up because it's very much related to what we just talked about. But last night in the 4th and 5th inning, your guys got to Valdez. They worked them. This is a crazy stat to me, or maybe I don't keep track of them close enough. But in the fourth and 5th innings last night, your guys fouled off 16 pitches on Valdez, right? And, of course, put up 7 runs. You got to him really well. But what does it take? Seriously, try to explain this to us. What does it take for hitters to be able to have that competitiveness, but also just the intelligence to be able to fend off 16 foul balls against a pitcher of that caliber?
Yeah, any of them will tell you that they're not trying to foul them off as much as just like some of them are tough pitches and they're just trying to stay alive until they get something that they can handle. But the intelligence, you probably just summarized it really well, because it's knowing what he's trying to do to you and then combating it well. And I feel like we're doing that better than we have over the last several years. It's not close. And the buy-in for it has been good, because you listen to the chatter in the dugout. right around that fourth, fifth inning, and the guys are talking about don't let them get out of this fifth inning, don't let them get out of this fifth inning, and that's a good mentality to have, where it's not you're just in survival mode. It's like, no, we're getting to that pen in the fifth. We're going to figure out a way to get this guy out of here, and they've done a nice job of that against some really tough arms. And there's days where it's not going to work, but the intent and the approach is there, and when you do that over 162, man, things tend to go your way. So I just love the overall buy-in to that mentality, because even guys that weren't doing well, take Contreras for example, even Mason, who was kind of in and out of feeling good about his swing, man, those were the loudest guys in that dugout during those times, even when it wasn't going their way. So when you're able to do it when you're not feeling well and still have that mentality, then when things start clicking, then it's just a hell of a lot of fun, kind of like last night.
It is fun. It is so impressive, this attacking style of offense, and you can go up and down the line. And I'm particularly interested in Arenado, because he went 0 for 4 on Saturday night, and then he put in some work, didn't he? I mean, he is a worker, Ollie. Can you explain what he's doing behind the scenes, not only with Brant Brown, but with Packy Elkins and Brandon Allen and everybody buying in?
And that's exactly it, man. That whole department. It's been fun to watch them come together, and each of them have their own strengths, but the prep that goes into it. And just to go off of Nolan, I mean, this guy's a workhorse. Whether it's going well or not for him, he's going to work. At times, you almost have to kind of reel him in and say, "Hey, man, like let's tone it down. Let's take a day. Stay off your feet." Especially when I give him an off day, he wants to be ready in the seventh inning and taking a bat. There's like, no, like take a day. Like once in a while, you just need to take a day. But yeah, he's been getting after it, and it's good to see him get rewarded, because one of the things that he's been saying is like, I want to commit to this and like hold it. Like there's times where you're just searching and you try something, doesn't feel good, you go to the next thing. He's like, no, I know I'm doing the right thing. I just need to continue to like stay convicted and staying here. And if I do that, it'll come. And we're getting to that point where we're seeing some really good at bats out of him. But you get him and Contreras going, and then the rest of the guys putting in their piece the way they have, man. It's a fun lineup to watch. It really is.
There's a message from Craig, who's watching on Facebook, along the lines of what we're talking about in terms of off days for regulars, how you decide it day to day. Do you have a schedule set ahead of time?
Yeah. So the Scalzo and myself sit down and kind of plan out series by series, and we'll look about 6 days ahead of what makes the most sense in a player's workload. And we have a pretty good idea about 2 series ahead of what we want that to look like. And there's times you make adjustments. A guy gets a little banged up before that off day, so you just kind of expedite it and give it to him a little earlier. Or he's hot and he comes in, he's like, hey, I know we agreed to Wednesday, but give me one more day because I'm feeling it. And you just push it, But you have an idea of what you want to do is make sure that you're not waiting for the guy to need an off day to give it to him. That tends to be a mistake, because then one day isn't enough. It ends up where he's still pretty worn out after that off day. So if you can give it to them before they really need it, the recovery tends to be better. Or if you compare it, there's certain guys where we'll give them an off day before a scheduled off day, like a actual team off day, right? So they have back-to-back off days and they're refreshed and ready to go once they get out of that 48-hour window. So depending on the guy, some guys hate that. Some guys love it. So you kind of have to know your guys and plan ahead. But as long as you communicate with them, it usually goes well.
Ali, I'm going to go back to Tom's question about Arenado, because this fascinates me. Over the last 2 seasons, and Busch Stadium, of course, is not an easy place for hitters. Over the last 2 seasons, starting 2024, Arenado's numbers at Busch Stadium are huge. And frankly, on the road, they're not that good. I don't understand that. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Like, seriously, what's up? What's up with that?
And if you watch, it was interesting to watch Bryce come into town, because he smoked 2 balls into the left center field gap, and he kind of stopped and looked into our dugout like, you guys have to do this every day? Because, I mean, those are homers. They just are. Like, he's hit enough homers. Bryce has hit enough homers where when he gets behind one, he knows it's gone. And he hit 2 where he's like, I don't know about that. Like, I'm supposed to be jogging right now. But this park will do it to you. So to your point, is there a reason for Nolan? No, not really. I can't answer it. But there's other guys who will tell you the complete opposite, where there's frustration sometimes having to hit at Busch because of how much of a pitcher's park it really plays. So, but no, as far as him being on the road and home and his splits being a little different than what you would expect, I don't think there's a real good one for that. Yeah.
Ollie, the rotation. I mean, setting the tone for this game. I mean, even in the extra inning loss, Eric Fetty does what he does. But then you go into this Phillies series. I mean, what Palante did on Friday, after all of that, to spark you. Michaelis, much better, striking out 6 on Saturday. Of course, Sunday, Liberatore, and yesterday, Gray. But to go back to Palante to set the tone, you're back home. You go through all of that. You burn bullpen arms, and he does what he does.
Yeah, he was really good. And this is a group, when you look at lefties that actually take decent at-bats against him, they do a decent job of taking the right approach against Palante, and he was able to shut them down and do a really nice job against a good lineup. But the rotation has looked good. It really has. Palante continues to take that next step. You can call it maturity over, like, just, man, there's a level of confidence and presence to him where he knows he belongs. And that's a good thing when you start to believe, like, I belong here. I'm good enough to be here. And he's pitching like it. He's done a really nice job. And then you look at Miles getting beat up when we were on the road compared to what he did against Philly. That's a tough lineup for him to navigate. And he used this stuff differently. He pitched to chase locations better, but his usage was different, and he used the top of the zone different. There's several things that he flipped the script on that allowed him to have the success and give us those 5 innings that he did. So, and then, I mean, the rest of the Libby was fun to watch, man. That was a lot of fun to watch. He continues to, when you talk about development and giving guys an opportunity, that's exactly the perfect dude of just taking advantage of it and continuing to show that he's going to get better every time out. Is he going to throw 7 shutout? No, but that was an awesome showing by him for sure. And then Sonny being able to give us 7, that was needed. So the rotation has looked good. A lot of work being put in there. So it's good to see those guys get rewarded.
Yeah, the Cardinals are starting to get more work out of the rotation in terms of innings. That those numbers have gone up quite a bit in just the last week and a half of work, which is very encouraging. We'll talk more about that. Got some other things to get into with Ollie Marmol, who is brought to you by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. It is Ollie, Bernie Miklas, Tom Ackerman, and me, Chris Ranji, on the Gashouse Gang.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup Tournament is coming back to St. Louis. Join us on May 6th or May 7th at Energizer Park for the round of 32 and watch St. Louis City SC compete with teams from around the country for America's most historic trophy. Tickets are available now for the round of 32 and round of 16. Learn more at stlcitysc.com/Open Cup and help the boys in red bring home an 11th U.S. Open Cup to our city.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Trust Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
I mean, we play for them. I don't know why they're not here. I mean, they have their reason. I'm not saying not, but you guys know that we play for you guys and we need you guys. But you guys give us energy, and one thing that I'm gonna say is that don't stop believing in this team.
That is Wilson Contreras addressing the size of the crowd over the weekend. You could see a lot of empty seats at Busch Stadium and basically wishing people would come out. Ollie Marmol, we've got Bernie Miklas, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse gang. And Ollie, wondering if that's a thing that you notice. Does the team talk about that kind of thing, what the crowd looks like?
No. It's notice, yes. Talk about, no. None of the guys have made mention of it, not even once, to be quite honest with you. I mean, when you're a player, you do feed off of the crowd. That's anyone that tells you differently is lying. You do feed off of that energy, and there's certain stadiums you go to where you feel the hostility when you're the opposing team. And what Wilson said, I mean, at the end of the day, you put your head down and you're trying to play your best baseball. That's the only thing you can control, and these guys are doing exactly that. If you are judging this group off of their style of play, I think it's hard to say anything negative, quite honestly. You have some young guys who are just playing hard. They're playing the game the right way. They'll make aggressive mistakes. The goal is to not make them in June and July or make the same ones, but I'd rather them be on the aggressive side at the moment and not timid. And man, they're going hard. So that's all you can ask for. And I think they've done that well. So they're controlling what they can control, and we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, you really do play an entertaining style of ball. A lot of energy, a lot of fun, dugouts loose. You're really fun to watch. So I guess my follow-up question to what Ranji asked you is, I don't know that, frankly, I'm going to be really candid. I don't know that any of this has to do with the play. Yeah. I don't know that much of this, I don't think anything has to do with the players. There's just general fan discontentment. I think the fans like the players, but they're just holding back. So I guess my question to you, follow-up, is like, what do you think it's going to take to get more people into the ballpark? It's not going to happen overnight, but do you see a gradual thing coming along if you do certain things?
Gosh, it's a really good question. I mean, the thing that I can only answer for what we can control, and I think people show up when you're playing good baseball and winning, right? And that's what we're gonna work on doing every single day. So it's hard for me to answer that from a business perspective or from Mo's seat or anybody else's seat, but from my seat and our staff, man, we're going to prepare for these guys to play a certain style of baseball that's fun to watch and that's winning baseball, the style of baseball that we're used to seeing here in St. Louis for a very long time. And I mean that. I really do, because when you're walking the street, people are behind this team. Like it's rare for me to be out in the streets with my wife and kids and out and about, and for people not to show the support and their enthusiasm and excitement for this group of young guys. So as far as attendance, I think that'll come the more we continue to show consistency with what we're doing. And that's about it, man.
I can say for me, I've had a lot more fun. I always enjoy being around this team, but I've had a lot more fun when I focus on individual performances and who's getting better and watching each player continue to improve, especially young players. That to me is fun. That to me is entertaining. And I would never tell a fan what to do, but I will tell them what they're missing. And I enjoy players getting better and better, and I can see it. And I know that you can see it too. And obviously you want to win. That win column is very important to you. But, for me, taking that part of it to the front, making sure that individual players are getting better, I can see that happening across the board right now.
No, it is. And it's important over a period of time for them to experience what this place is like when that stadium's packed. Because it's a different feel. It really is. And for them to feel that style of baseball in St. Louis is important when you're young and building towards something that can last. So hopefully that becomes the case, but we're going to continue to do our jobs of just playing the game the right way, playing it hard, and making it exciting for people to want to watch this group.
Questions for Ali Marmol,
Yeah.
the manager of the Cardinals. We've got Mike in Collinsville who is with us. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, Ollie, I know you guys are wanting to go to this 6-man rotation, and I can understand that, although I don't think it'll last very long. It never has wherever it's been used, but I'm concerned about Matt's coming out of that pen because he's been so good in long relief, and who's going to fill that role. And I just was thinking that maybe McGreevy or Matthews would be a better option for that 6-man in that rotation. Leave Matt's where he's at. What your thoughts on that are?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, really good question. And here's the way we're looking at it. It's a matter of, if I were to categorize this as what's the main reason for the 6-man, I would say player health. Okay. That's why we didn't start the year in a 6-man, because it wasn't needed. Everybody has been on an extra day of rest this year because of our off days. Okay. The only guy that wasn't was Fetty when we pulled him in that game that he was throwing the no-hitter. He's the only guy that was going on 4 days of rest instead of 5 days of rest. Everybody else has actually been good with that. As we go into this stretch where we don't have an off day, adding the 6-man being Matt allows for everybody to stay on that schedule. The highest amount of injuries happen for pitchers March and April. I mean, you look down the list of injuries, and I did this morning, throughout the league, and it's high, man. Like there's a lot of pitching arms going down left and right. And the majority of it happens in spring training, and then it trickles into April. And then once you get to May, June, it starts to taper off. So we don't have the luxury, and I'm just going to be extremely candid. We don't have the luxury of depth. Like, we have a couple arms down in AAA, but we don't have this plethora of arms that we can just draw from. So for us, in managing what we currently have in my position, and when I sit there with Dusty and Scalzo, we have to be really good about keeping the 26 that we have healthy. Because as soon as you start to draw from the McGreevy's and then past McGreevy, like it starts to dwindle. And it's not a knock on anything other than, like, we have to keep our 26 healthy, and we got to keep the 13 pitchers that we have healthy. And the best way to do that is to not push them in April. If we had the luxury of go get another arm and we have this huge, then yeah, you can be a little bit more aggressive. But that's not the game. Like, we have to play a different game within our organization than some others. And part of that game within the game is getting through April healthy. And up to this point, anything can happen, man. The game does some weird things and injuries happen, but we've done a good job of that. If you look at who we've lost from our 26-man from a pitching standpoint, like, it's been good. So we have to continue that. That's where Matt comes in, gives us the ability to stay on that 6-man rotation, or guys have that extra day of rest. And then we'll get a read once we go through this little stretch of no off days and figure out what's needed. But by bringing up a McGreevy or bringing up somebody else, you have to lose somebody in that pen. So you're in a similar boat. But so I understand the question. I appreciate the question. But if I were to put it under one bucket, it'd be, we want to keep those 5 guys that are in that rotation healthy. And the best way to do that is to continue to give them that extra day of rest.
Just to follow up on this, because I'm really intrigued by the 6-man rotation, and you've done a lot of research on this. If there's a downside, like teams that have tried to do this, right?
Yeah.
If there's been a downside, if there are reasons that maybe it didn't work out as well, is it just the possibility of putting your bullpen under more of a load of innings?
Yes, it is. And that's where we do have the flexibility, unlike some other years where we have guys in that bullpen with options. So depending on their usage, you can flip them for a fresh arm. You have Munoz, you have Roy Cross, you have certain guys that you can flip for a fresh arm so that you're not putting yourself in a position during this stretch of no off days where you're putting anybody else at risk. So the goal isn't just to keep the 5 in the rotation healthy and beat up the bullpen. We'll be super mindful of that, but this does allow us the best shot to keep everybody healthy and complete April. While we know there's a huge spike in March and April with injuries. So I love what Mats has done in the pen. He's done a really nice job. And he had a really good spring and deserves to be in the rotation as well. Like you can argue both sides of it if you really want to. But we'll allow him to go a couple times through, get us through April, and then we'll see where we're at after that. Yeah.
Samuel is watching us on YouTube and says, I was impressed. Ollie did not get tossed by CB Buckner on Saturday.
Me too.
Okay. So say whatever you can say without getting in trouble by the league.
Umpiring is very difficult.
Oh, here we go.
He said, "Here we go."
Here we go.
No, I really. There's been a couple games where I've been close. One of them was when we lost Win in the first. But the last thing you want to do is leave your bench coach with this mess of a National League game and pinch hits and double switches. And so, like, I wanted to stay for that one. But yeah, there's times you get frustrated, man, and you want to lose your. Yes. I'm trying to stay in more games than I have in the past. I've been successful 2 weeks in. But yeah, there's times you're tested and it's really hard not to speak your mind. It really is.
Well, Eli says on YouTube that you're safe here. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
He's on you. This is just pretend like nobody else is listening or watching.
Nobody else will ever hear this. No.
Yeah,
absolutely.
this is a safe space.
Look, safe until I get the fine.
Yeah. Look at NY got in there too with his question number one. Number two is the one that I want to focus on here, and that is Jordan Walker. And it's not just his at bats, Ollie, but his play in right field has to lift him enormously. I mean, he looks great out there.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see, man, is you look at the transition from third base to right field, and then you ask him to do it at the highest level. That's a tough ask. It's there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. There's nerves, there's overall pressure. And when it doesn't go well out the gate, man, it's hard to recover sometimes. And what Jordan has done of just preparing, and I give all the outfielders credit, and he mentioned this as far as like that group just pushing each other to be better as a group. And then what John Jay has added to that from a preparation standpoint, man, it's allowed Jay to go out there. Walker to go out there and just play with some freedom. And you see it in the dugout. He's smiling, he's loose, he's being himself. His jumps, his first step, his routes have been better. And even joking around and calling Victor Scott off yesterday to take that ball from him in center field. Like, that's something he never would have done 2 years ago. I mean, he would have, hey, Vic, you take it. I'm good. So he's playing with confidence. And then you're seeing that also with his at-bats. He's not overthinking it. He's game planning for that guy, and then he's going out there and trying to execute. And it's been fun to watch him. It really has. Yeah.
Ollie, I got one more for you. Getting back to kind of the team's personality and what we're seeing so far. You've got I'm talking about the position players, because we know you have some older guys in your rotation and your bullpen, but among your position players, the guys who are just having this incredible year offensively, where the Cardinals rank in all these categories. But anyway, you only have two position players over 28 years old. That would be Contreras and Arenado. And you have most of your position players are like 26 and younger. There's a couple guys that are 28. My question is, it's my impression, can you fill us in, because you obviously know more than any of us. Have the younger players taken ownership of not the clubhouse, but the sense that it's their time, they have to make it happen, and that includes leadership? Are they doing more to take ownership of everything?
Yes and no. Yes, and I say that in a good way. There is ownership in it, but there's also this level of respect of Nolan and Contreras are in this room, right? And that's a healthy relationship to have, where it's like, this is our time, because we're trying to build something that's going to last for a while. And I really do believe, when you look at Philly, they came into town, you look at that roster, what sticks out immediately? When I look at it, it's a veteran group, man. You got Turner, Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, Realmuto. Like, you go down that list, like, this is their window to do some really, really neat things, right? You look at their rotation, you got Nola, Sanchez, Wheeler. Like, it's a solid roster. Our group of young guys know that they're building towards something where that window's coming, and it could be really damn cool. All right. But there's a lot to learn from the guys that have already done it, right? Contreras has had some really highs, and some lows. Nolan has had highs, he's had lows, and you learn from that, you draw from that, so that when you're going through it, if you can expedite development by learning from others' mistakes and other people's experiences, it's a really good thing. So I love the balance of our young guys understanding that. They understand, man, this is our time to do what we need to do to build something that could be fun. But let's also not think we know everything, because we have guys in this room that have gone through it, and there's a lot we can draw from them. And that relationship has been really, really good to watch. Like, in hearing them talk to each other, and when you have a clubhouse meeting and you allow some of the young guys and some of the old guys to speak into what we want to do as a club, it's an interesting dynamic, and one that's worked really well, because the old guys could speak honestly without anybody feeling good, like this is where we're headed, and the young guys feel comfortable enough voicing their opinion as well. And when you have that balance, it's really fun, man. It really is.
Our conversation every Tuesday with manager Ollie Marmol is brought to you by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Ollie, go get a win tonight against the Astros at home. Game 2 of a 3-game series. Eric Fetty and Hunter Brown is the matchup. We appreciate it. Let's do it again at 12 o'clock next Tuesday.
You got it, man. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That is Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol. Still got Bernie Miklas, Tom Ackerman, and Chris Ranji. The Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM coming back in a moment on KMOX.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been a customer of theirs since 2013, and there's a reason for that. Supplement Superstores is the best. They are always on the cutting edge of science, so when they find better products, that's what they work with. And they also have the best people. All of the employees at Supplement Superstores are certified sports nutrition specialists and personal trainers. So they'll work with you to build a simple eating plan and workout routine that fit your goals. And by the way, they do that for free. So to find your Supplement Superstores location and get started down your path to success, go to supplementsuperstores.com.
It is 57 degrees and sunny in St. Louis. We are approaching a high of 62.
Brought to you by Volley. Volley. Level up game night with Volley, the smart TV app for playing games like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, or test your knowledge with fun music quizzes and party games. Turn your TV into the ultimate game hub with the Volley app on your Roku or Fire TV. Download it and play today. Volley.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Blues and Cardinals are both in action tonight on FanDuel Sports Network. The Blues play their regular season finale on FanDuel Sports Network, and the Cardinals host the Astros on FanDuel Sports Network Extra. Subscribe to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals and the Blues.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9000000. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Today, the Cards, the Astros.
Ameren Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Gashouse Gang is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling.com. It is Bernie Miklas and Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji with you until 1 o'clock. We do this show every day from 12 until 1. We are fortunate enough to be joined by Ollie Marmol every Tuesday. He joins us from 12 to 12:30. Went a little over this time, as I imagine he is going to do a lot. And guys, talking about what this team has done in the last several days, like I said at the top, much different feeling than what we had Tuesday's Gashouse Gang of last week, because we were talking about a team that had not done well against Pittsburgh and Boston, and you had these series where they just weren't performing well. And now you look back, and they've beaten teams. They've beaten like Paul Skeens. They beat Valdez last night. They have beaten some really, really good pitching. So, Bernie, it's encouraging. It doesn't mean it stays like this all year, but this is a really good sign that they have done well against good pitching at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I was looking at this and I concentrated on the games they won. And like I told Ollie, just sharing the information, they have wins over Lopez, Skeens, Nola, Wheeler, and Valdez. And those guys in those 5 starts against the Cardinals have had a combined 6.58 ERA. Now, if you look at their ERAs against everybody else, the ERAs they're glistening. They're beautiful, right? So the Cardinals were taking a much higher caliber of at-bats in terms of quality against those 5 guys. And I don't think any of them were really off. I mean, I think they were all kind of tough to crack, but the Cardinals just, they're so much smarter with how they take at-bats this year. And that's quantified through a lot of statistics. I mean, their percentage of strikes that are foul balls is way up from last year, which means they're finding ways to stay alive at the plate. They don't chase as much. They hit more strikes. All the things that they, quite frankly, haven't been doing consistently in recent years. They have a very sharp approach to hitting, and it's making a huge difference. And it gives them much more of a chance against really, really good starting pitching. And these 5 games are evidence of that. Sure, Keller from Pittsburgh made them look bad. He's a really good pitcher. The only time I've been irritated, really irritated with the Cardinals in terms of their approach, was that getaway game in Pittsburgh. I thought they mailed in a lot of at-bats. I didn't think the discipline or just sort of the focus was strong enough. And that's why they scored 1 run in 13 innings. But you know what? They bounced right back from that, and they resumed their good habits. And so what we're seeing from this offense, there is nothing fluky about it, simply because it's a direct result of a smarter and more disciplined plate approach. And that's exciting to watch.
Absolutely. And Bernie, the next thing for them to tackle, the offense has been terrific. The pitching is starting to come around. The starting pitching was very good at one last turn through the rotation, is playing on the road. They're 7-3 at home, and they're 1-5 on the road. So now they go and take on the Mets after this series. Still have more to get, obviously, but they'll play 4 against the Mets on the road. And then, it continues on. I mean, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. They'll go to Atlanta, a team that's reeling and dying to get back on track. So it'll be a tough 7-game stretch for him. Bernie, I thought that your note that Arenado kills it at home and not so much on the road was very, very interesting. In fact, just overall, I'm curious to see how this young team performs under that different spotlight on the road.
Yeah, I'll just give one stat because I don't want to overdo it. But since the start of last season, this dude, Arenado's got a .460 slugging percentage at Busch Stadium, which is really, really good. But on the road, it's like .353. See, that makes no sense to me at all. Like none, right? And I don't know how to explain it. I think one way to explain it is, and I'm not trying to be cute, I think he really loves playing in St. Louis. Maybe that's the reasons why he's had 3 or 4 times to leave and said no. He's staying. So I think it's cool. I love this story that's growing. Cardinals might be better, because it's early, might be better than we thought, most of us thought. And some of the guys leading the way are guys that I'm not going to say fans and media were down on, but maybe there were the most questions about them. Like, what can Arenado do in age 34? Well, he's showing he can still do a lot. So there's some really cool storylines with this team, and I try to tell the fans they can do what they want, but if you're mad at DeWitt, you're mad at Mozeliak. Players have nothing to do with that. If you like the way they play, go watch them. That's all.
Yeah, I think that's directly what we were talking about with the attendance. And it's not an indictment of the players themselves. I think for a lot of fans, they were turned off by the last few off seasons, the lack of commitment. They just wanted to see a little bit more from the front office. And I get that. I think there's a lot of validity in that. This is supposed to be a transitional year. Could end up being a pretty competitive season. We don't know. And I think we want to ride this as long as possible. But I don't think there's any doubting that this team, at least right now, through April 15th, is just, I mean, sometimes they can be frustrating, but this is just kind of a fun team to watch right now.
It is. And Bernie, you made the point to Ollie, and I'll show this comment here that, it's not about the players that you said it candidly. It's not. It's about ownership and front office. This one right here. So Kevin Kelly heard this on Sports on a Sunday morning. That's not what he said. He said, when I talked about Michaelis, he said,
fanboy Tom.
He said, I get your fanboy frustration, but et cetera, this is what we're going to do with our 6-man rotation, et cetera. He wasn't saying that necessarily. People took that as a shot at fans in general. I don't think that is the case with either Mozeliak or DeWitt, that they're against the fans or that they don't appreciate. A lot of them are protesting right now and are saying they're not coming back until things start to change a little bit. And I totally understand the fans' side on that too, though, is that, fans want to be appreciated. They spend money, they come out, they put their heart into it. And that's why I never tell fans what to do. Even if they go out and boo, I mean, it's you can do that. You pay the money,
And you know what, Tom, even if they don't go to games, they're watching at home. They're listening on KMOX. They are devoting time, and time is the absolute most valuable thing any of us have.
They care, and I promise you, nobody, and Bernie, I'll let you comment on this, but nobody is going to want to be a part of an organization where the Cardinals or that particular team is low on the list of priorities. I mean, or there's apathy, or nobody cares, no one pays attention. People care and pay attention around here.
And, just to be clear, and I've said this a lot. I never tell the fans what they should do. Never. It's their money. It's their time. And both of those things are precious investments. There's also the cost factor. I know the Cardinals work to try to have a lot of discount seats, but that's really not the point. All teams do that. But it's not easy. It's not quite as easy to go to the ballpark in terms of what you want to do there and the money you have to spend. So I don't belittle fans at all. Just like, but there's a flip side to that. When I was doing some shows and I'd get 30,000 text messages, and one of the things that would drive me nuts was the opposite of this: fans condemning other fans for going to the game, calling them sheep, saying you're the reason why things are bad because you just keep showing up and giving them your money. That ticked me off more than anything, because it was like, who the hell are you to say how another fan should spend his or her time and money? So this works both ways. I'll never tell a fan what they should do with their time and money. And I'd never tell them they shouldn't be peeved at ownership or management. But I also don't want people telling fans who come that somehow they're sheep, which is incredibly insulting. The only thing I'm saying, if this team continues to play an enjoyable style of baseball, it's okay to go to a couple games. The Cardinals don't need me to pitch, try to pitch tickets. I wouldn't do it anyway. I'm just saying, I really like this team, what I've seen so far. And I find myself more riveted to the games than I've been maybe the last couple of years. That's all. I think it's a fun team to watch, at least this early in the season.
Eli is watching on YouTube, and he says, I would go to the game tonight, but going to the Blues game instead. And it's funny he says that. We need to talk about what the Blues have in store tonight, what the deal is with them. And we will do that when we come back and after Bernie Miklasz tells us about our friends at Saliga.
I'd be happy to, Mr. Ranji. Saliga Heating and Cooling has been around the same building, actually, down in South City on Gravois since 1927. The Saligas have owned it. 4 generations of Saligas have taken care of generations of St. Louis families. I love that. And this is an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. They'll take care of your home. They'll take care of your businesses, wherever you have a space that needs to be attended to for heating and cooling. They also do a lot of things that aren't related directly to heating and cooling. You can go to Saliga Heating and Cooling and find out about that. But listen, we've been a Saliga family for 16 years, going on 17. And the thing I want to stress to you is they're honest. They're not going to play games. They're not going to try to talk you into stuff. They're not going to try to sell you, upsell you. They look to save us money. Some neighbors of ours who have used them say, yeah, they actually have proposed cheaper solutions that work. So you can count on their integrity, and they're obviously very good at what they do in terms of knowledge and professionalism. So one more thing, and then I'll move on. But look into the Priority Club. It's a maintenance program that'll save you money over the long term, and also give you the peace of mind knowing that your equipment's working well. To find out more about Saliga Heating and Cooling, this independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Take a look at the Priority Club, and thank you.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
There is no better way to enjoy America's favorite pastime than cheering on the Cardinals with your family at Busch Stadium. From the thrill of watching the game to the kid-friendly activities, food, and fun, the ballpark has it all. Make magical memories as you cheer together for every home run, double play, and Cards win. Your family's summer tradition starts here at Busch Stadium. Grab your tickets today at Cardinals.com. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
The Ultimate Drive, hosted by Albert Pujols and benefiting the Pujols Family Foundation, returns Thursday, May 22nd to Topgolf in Chesterfield. Enjoy dinner and drinks, play golf with a celebrity, and support Albert and the Pujols Family Foundation. Limited days remain. Reserve yours today at PujolsFamilyFoundation.org or go to KingMOX.com/events for more info. The Ultimate Drive, hosted by Albert Pujols, sponsored in part by KingMOX and Topgolf.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
The Rockwood School District has openings and is looking for people who enjoy working with kids to drive buses, work in the school cafeteria, clean buildings, work as groundskeepers, work with kids in the before and after school program, and much more. Rockwood is a great place to work. Outstanding benefits, positive, caring work environment, competitive pay, working with kids, and really a fun working environment. You can find out more at rsdmo.org/jobs.
There's something new taking shape in downtown St. Louis, an experience unlike anything else in sports. From the hustle on the pitch to all the flags and smoke and 22,000 fans chanting STL in unison throughout Energizer Park. This is more than just a game. This is St. Louis City Soccer. Learn more at stlcitysc.com/tickets and experience it now.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Miklas, Ackerman, Ranji, we are getting ready for a huge Blues game tonight. It is easily, because it's the last game, and it means so much. It is the most important Blues game of the season, Bernie Miklas. They don't have to win tonight, but they kind of have to win tonight.
I think they got to win tonight. Tom Ackerman and Chris Ranji, to me, the playoffs begin tonight. I look at it at this, and I think the players do too, because the only sure way they make the playoffs is to win and get 2 points. I guess they can win in overtime, but just as long as they get 2 points. And listen, they've been great. They have been great at home, 12-0-1 since February 8th, I believe. And they've got so much going on. I thought, Tom, I think that winning streak, you go for it, and then maybe you lose a game and maybe you decompress a little bit. I thought maybe they're dragging a little bit. I don't expect that to be the case tonight.
I really think they missed Dylan Holloway. I think that is the big thing, and it makes him a different team. His speed and tenacity, two-way play hurts him. I could go through all the scenarios for you, but it would take about 10 minutes. I posted it on my Twitter X account if you want to go through them all, because there are a lot of different options that they have, but you just nailed it. They had just win in regulation. They can finish it tonight, and it is like a game 7. But they do miss Holloway. He's going to be, I mean, when they say week to week, and it doesn't sound good to me, that's not good. So, the rest of the team's got to pick it up, but having Parayko back is big. Having the Blues' ability to score all 3 periods, they play a consistent style, but especially when they're a third period team to finish the deal. I like them tonight.
Man, I need them to win, because early last week, I said, oh, this is over. They're in. They're in, baby. Don't make a liar out of me. So.
Big game Bennington, too. Don't forget that.
That's right.
Oh, big time.
Bernie, we do not have a Gashouse Gang tomorrow because of early Cardinals baseball, but we're back Thursday. It's Bernie Miklas and me. Talk to you then, Bernie. That is Bernie. That is Tom Ackerman.
See you, buddy.
I am Chris Ranji. Thank you, my friend. We will be back with the Gashouse Gang on Thursday at 12 o'clock. The Dave Glover Show, though, is next.